CP 2981, Flash Food. Consider request for an automobile service station, gas station. Property is zone PD, plan development, located on the corner of Frederick Road and Riverview Drive, parcel ID 0409733. Jane, area up front, and these are the sides. This would be the elevation of the canopy over the gas pumps, as well as what would be surrounding the dumpster enclosure. This is a photometric plan showing the foot panel levels. And here are some example stores in other areas. This is mainly just for your edification. It's showing what it could look like. By stores in other locations. So possible actions for the conditional use are recommend approval as presented, recommend approval with modifications or conditions, defer action, or recommend denial. The possible actions are as follows. Approve as presented, approve with conditions, defer action, or deny. These are the recommended motions for the conditional use application.
A convenience store is a bypass business which takes the vast majority of its business from existing traffic. The other designation is defined as a destination location. As such, increases the volume of traffic. Destination businesses are denoted as major retailers such as Walmart, sit-down restaurants such as Longhorn, banks, doctors, and dentist offices. The point of designation. In that attention, we have provided you with traffic studies from our traffic engineers who will see tonight to answer detailed questions on my but to follow this issue, we engage a local traffic engineer to refer another story. I have a copy of that traffic study. Just we present that to y'all tonight and show slide. In both studies, say the addition will not change current conditions significantly and will move current zoning and traffic regulations. The site provides for foot traffic curb cut on Frederick Road, one on Riverview Drive and the third on Riverview Drive at the back of the property. I'm going to stop somebody who wanted to be commissioners asked. That is not public access, but it is public access. There is an access easement from the shopping center to Riverview Drive. Access easement all the way behind the property, all the way to the stop line. We have another question about gas bills. The truck can pull in and pull out the rear. Those radiuses are sufficient and can access the traffic signal at the shopping center. So there is adequate access. The curb cut on Frederick Road will be increased, and those turning radiuses are on our site plan and meet all the current traffic regulations. So there are no turning issues or radius.
It's time to open the public hearing. So here we come to the microphone, those that are against, line up. And I will again remind you, please keep your comments on those items that I read. We are currently talking about gas, additional use. If someone has said something 2 or 3 times, please don't come back and say it again. Or we'll be here till tomorrow morning. State your name and your comments, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Rick Wiedehorn. I'm a resident of Glynn County. I lived on St. Simons for 30 years, so I'm somewhat of an amateur traffic expert. I live a mile north of this location, and traffic at midday sometimes backs up that far. I'm not going to talk about the hours of operation, which we know are 24/7, 365 days a year. I'm not going to talk about the outdoor lighting, which you know, as nice as the pictures are, is basically staging lighting. You do crane surgery on a hand for that lighting. And I'm going to talk about traffic, and I'm referencing the traffic study that's already been mentioned tonight. That traffic study, which is all traffic study that somebody paid for, says that 2,170 cars will visit this location on an average day. An average day. 2,170 cars. That's 4,340 exits and entrances each day on average. That's a lot of cars. Right now, Frederica Road carries between 14,000 and 15,000 cars a day. It's true this has 5 locations. 70% of the cars that visit this location will have already done that stretch of road anyway. 30% will not have been. 30% of the vehicles, according to this traffic study, are new traffic on that stretch of road. That's about a 5% increase in the traffic on Frederica Road on an average day. I don't think we want more of this. So please, don't tell me the traffic's going to be inconsequential. You're talking about 180 cars entering or exiting every hour. 180 cars either making an entrance or an exit in an average hour. That's counting 3 in the morning, it's probably 10 cars. This is trying to put a square peg into a round hole. The applicant is obviously trying very hard to make it work. It will not work. And I'm saying that now, you all are on record. It will not work, it will be a mess. I'm very sorry to say that. And to say that a restaurant has the same problem is ridiculous. I know the gentleman had the restaurant before it closed up. Yeah, got 12 tables in there. If you turn a table maybe 12 times a day, you're doing great. That's 140 cars a day. Oh, we're doing that in 2 hours. I mean, this is just a ridiculous proposal. I can't believe it got past planning staff. I'm very disappointed in them. I don't care if it meets all the regulation. It doesn't meet the intent of what we're trying to do in this county, this island, and I really hope people get it. Thank you.
Gary Schwartz, I live on Riverview Drive, and instead of what the other gentleman talked about, I want to talk about the effect it has on all of the folks like myself who live on Riverview Drive. Whether we're going north or south on Frederica, we have to wait for other people to allow us to get in. That is now. We have, as of now, we have to wait for people to let us in just to get out or to get in. Forget about making a left-hand turn out of it. I have to go through the park company, the post office, and get a flight. And that's the getting back there. So what I'm saying in effect is people who live there now are putting up with more traffic than almost anybody else on the island, and y'all want to add to it. I might add to that that the gentleman that was speaking before and trying to compare it to Jekyll Island is somewhat disingenuous because there is no density and subdivision behind the one on Jekyll Island like there is behind this one. And I think that it's ridiculous. Right now, I'm having trouble getting in and out of my own house, and they want to add to it and make it even worse. That's all. I think I'm thinking everybody on there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, I'm Jack Overland. Most of the board members remember me from about 3 or 4 years ago when Monty Ranch was put in. They tried to put a bank there. I represent the 160 property owners of Orange Plantation. We had an annual meeting last week, and we found there was not one property owner. We had 159 there, and they were all upset about it. If I may address the issues that the committee wants to address. Outdoor lighting. Building number 7, we actually restricted Monkey Wrench down lower to keep the view for building 7. The lighting was also adjusted. I cannot imagine a gas station what the lighting will be in building 7 when there's a gas station there 24 hours a day. That's our first issue. Ingress and egress, I think this commission knows what that's going to create. Y'all have made comments. There's no way, I'm not going to address that, because I think it's obvious to anybody what that will do. If the committee remembers, when we came in with Monkey Ridge, the PD that was developed, this commission stated, and we agreed, that there would be no gas station on Frederica there. That's right across the street. All I would do is ask this commission to be consistent. If Monkey Ridge couldn't be a gas station, how can there be a gas station across the street?
My name is Bert Harrison. I've spent 6 years sitting right where y'all are on the Plan Development Commission in another city. I know what you're up against. But this is a conditional use permit. You can tell them a lot of things. Ingress and egress is the main issue everybody's talking about. You could restrict them if some of you want to approve this. You can restrict them from coming out on Riverside or Frederica. Either one.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Susan Hoster. I've lived here for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of changes in 20 years. And I would ask that the planning board would listen to some of the facts that we've learned tonight from Desiree and Robert Usher, who have come up with some really good facts. And if they would listen to the people.
Yeah, I'm David Tyler. I'm director of the Center for Sustainable Coast, and I just so happen to live down in that neighborhood, have since 1977, St. Catherine's Street. I'm very familiar with the problem getting in and out of that area of Frederica Road, especially because, as some of the previous speakers mentioned, the backup of traffic at that light. And I also am very almost cynically amused by these traffic studies. I have an engineering degree. I'm not a traffic engineer, but I know when I see bogus numbers and bogus reasoning. This traffic study is full of assumptions that go from preconceived notions to foregone conclusions without any real analytical substance to justify the claim. For example, page 5, at the bottom of page 5, under the analysis of results. Analysis of build condition indicates that no significant increases in delay are expected with the inclusion of additional traffic associated with proposed electric development. This is due in part to the fact that a majority of anticipated site traffic is expected to always be traveling on Frederica Road. Yeah, it's always traveling on Frederica Road, but it's not turning off of Frederica Road into or out of that site. The turns create all kinds of delays, and they're completely ignored in this study. And they have the audacity to claim a level of service that is based upon assumptions that have nothing to do with those delays that are peculiar to this area because of the backup out at that traffic light, among other things. So I would say discount this traffic study in its entirety because it's completely bogus.
My name is Al Sigler. I live on Redford Drive, which is 1 block north. We have the same problem, can't get out of there, have to turn right basically and go down and hit the light and go back north. Well, the other issue, I guess, is Class 2. Personally, if you build it there, I won't shop there. I won't
For the record, Yorkville, my address is P.O. Box 20481, St. Simons. My wife and I own property on Riverview Drive. We lived there for several years. We kept the house, and we may go back there someday. So we have a vested interest in keeping this neighborhood attractive and desirable. We made a series of objections, and we emailed most of you a copy of the record. Janet, I'll email you a copy in the morning. It outlined our objections. The concerns we have are that the proposal does not conform to the comprehensive plan. It doesn't conform to the future land use map and text that helps embellish the plan. I think these are critical because when you analyze compatibility, you've got to have some basis to decide what's compatible. The county spent over $200,000 on a consultant, plus all the time and energy of staff and you people putting the plan together several years ago, and it needs to be adhered to. I'm also concerned about several deviations from the zoning ordinance and the other ordinances. I analyzed the earlier site plan. I haven't really had a chance to look at this version of the site plan, but it appears to be tighter. But in the earlier site plan, there was a problem with the setback requirement. There was a problem. Arguably, there's not enough parking to meet the requirements of the ordinance. In addition, the staff report had indicated that the tree standards were not fully met. The information was not supplied in order to analyze the trees. Plus, arguably, this is after all, a zone. It's a request that's based on a PD zoning that was adopted 30 years ago and was an amendment to another PD, and I have not been able to find the information on the earlier PD to be able to evaluate what the uses are that are permitted. I think arguably there's a problem with the uses that are being addressed in these two ordinances. Also, with respect to infrastructure, there's been a lot of talk about turning movements and vehicle routes of travel. I'm not as concerned about that, although it does make a problem in one specific area, and that has to do with the level of service on Frederica Road. Frederica Road was operating a few years ago when the long-range transportation plan was developed. At close to failure, it will not improve over the years because you can't do the things you would have to do to increase the capacity of the road, but the volumes are going to increase. The problem with this is not so much the additional traffic, although I was surprised to learn that 30% of the trips are going to be new trips. That's higher than I thought it would be. But what happens is because of all the turning movements, reducing or creating drag, if you will, on the the capacity, you will be actually reducing the capacity. So you may not have a lot of trips, but it will reduce the level of service because the capacity is reduced. Finally, I want to mention once more the comp plan. The comp plan, which was developed by the county and approved by the state, was developed following the guidelines the state puts out for approved comp plans. Made a lot of emphasis on quality of life and character of the area. And this thing just is not consistent with maintaining the type of character and quality in this area. I think a lot of people are articulating that. I think it is a valid point to consider because it relates to the compatibility of the project. Unless there are any questions. Thank you.
I'd like to speak to issues. The first would be traffic. I live in Vito. I live in a subdivision off Frederica Road. And in the summertime, between about 11 to 1 or 2 in the afternoon, the traffic backs up past this church, perhaps. And that's before we have another convenience store. The other issue I would like to speak to is I attend church at 1700 Frederica Road, which is right by Barnes Police Station. I agree with what the gentleman said.
in regard to Barnes communication. My understanding is there's an ordinance that says alcohol cannot be sold within 600 feet of the house of worship, and our church is 200 feet.
That has nothing to do with the gas.
Okay, but is a convenience store proposed?
They have to get a liquor license, that's not, they have to get a liquor license, that has nothing
But
to
you
do with
are
gas.
aware, okay, you are aware, thank you. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I live in Simon. I commend the board for your very intelligent and very relevant questions. The figure stick just throughout really boggling my mind. It's one of my concerns, like flow of traffic, the congestion, and 340 exits and entrances onto a already busy highway speaks for itself. One I was going to make additionally is I know you counted the lanes right here after that. There's 4 lanes of traffic right here. There's a turn lane for across the street, there's main lane, and then the turn lane at the light. And you're talking pretty much right at 4 lanes of traffic as well. And this is as far as the not having any 18-wheelers. I don't know if you've ever seen a beer truck. I know it's not very well good, but it's traffic. Now here, those beer trucks are huge. And if you'll indulge me, like woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, so there's no place.
I'm not here. I've been here for 35 years. I was the one standing on the Rivers Road with the umbrella and the flip-flops. And first of all, I want to commend all of you because you've done a lot of investigation. You had good questions, and I was impressed with your knowledge of the situation, and I appreciate that. Second of all, I disagree with the whole project. I see no need for another gas station back road. Second of all, I work part-time at a children's boutique in the same area that others. I can tell you, I'm just about to take my life in my hands every time I leave that little area right across the street from the firehouse right now. So, and then to compare at Flash Foods on that time, I think Jekyll is absurd. I think Jekyll only has one gas station, if I'm correct. And they don't have hardly any kids, so, that being said, I am disappointed with the planning commission, not you, but the planning of the county, because they approved this traffic situation. I'm just appalled that with all the information we found. Thank you.
Before you start, please, nothing else about traffic. We understand there's a traffic problem. You got something else to add to it. We know there's a traffic problem, and we've heard all that. You got something else to add to it. Thank you.
When I go to my bike shop, I'm Fred Collins. When I go to my bike shop, I'm only allowed, which I go at least once a week, sometimes twice. I'm only allowed to make a right in and right out. When I go to my bank, BB&T, I'm only allowed to make a right in, and I have to exit the back of the property. I'm glad you have that picture up there, because I don't have to tell you how I measured the distance from BB&T to the east of this property is less than the length of my Chevy pickup truck. And you're going to add 2,200 left in and left out a day?
Thank you.
Haywood. And I live at 1790 Prairie River Road, White Street, one gas. 5 years in the same spot. And I don't know how I'm getting out of my job from hour to hour. I have to pay certain amounts of time when I want to leave my house just to get out. And as far as the 18-wheelers, they're parking in front of my house at least 3-4 times a week. Because they're delivering at the bicycle shop. They park in the middle, they park in front of my house up on the grass, and you still have the trash trucks that's coming in and out. I have 2 kids that go to Glynn County school system, which I taught for 36 years. There is a bus stop on the end. It started at the corner where the bank was. Now it's moved further on down the street. I don't know if they're trying to get all the way down to the marsh or where the bus stop is going to be. And they come up to the light. And my kids have to cross the road to get to the bus stop.
Thank you.
Just want to make one comment relative, reinforces the traffic. The convenience store, to be in business, is a high volume transaction business. They don't go in business to do $1,000 transaction each. It's 5, 10 cents, 25 cents, $3. Multiple times every hour. So the merits of the business is high volume. It's going to generate a lot of traffic. It's been clearly stated, it's going to be a major issue. So please consider everything.
Anybody wishing to speak in favor? Wait just a minute. Anybody wishing to speak in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I am, but it would be in the form of rebuttal if you want to wait.
We'll do that. We'll call you soon. No traffic. Right here.
I've been here almost 40 years. I'm just concerned about the island in general. I just think it's just sad. You know, we're trying to hold on to the ambiance, the beauty of this island. And you said not to mention trees, I can't help but mention the trees. I know. It's
You wish to agree, that's fine.
okay. I just want to thank all of you, and I know that you know that this is not a good idea for the island, and the street riverside. You know, it made me think, what about all of the little streets, all of the little areas where people live, and those children that live on that street? I'm a school teacher too, for 40 years, 30 in the public and 10 past my 30. And I mean, this place is just we have to stick together on this island and stop the insanity.
I'm Martha Smith. I live over in Brooklyn, and I'd like to address the incompatibility of putting a gas station with gas tanks in the middle of a residential area. You must be aware that there are 118 condominium units immediately behind this location. There is a residence immediately across the street. Now, there's a bank on the north and a bank on the south. And banks are pretty much compatible with residential uses. Gas stations with gas tanks and fuel trucks that can spill fuel down, that's going to run right down into the aquifer, are not compatible. Thank you.
Gas pump. Good. This time we'll ask the applicant to close the public hearing. Other commissioners? Other comments? Seeing you're ready to vote, would you read the motion again, sir?
I move to deny the conditional use permit for CUP 2981 Flash Trees because of difficult, problematic, and potentially dangerous emergencies, ingress and egress to this property depicted on site.
All those in favor signify by raising hands. Earlier, that's our decision. Has to make a recommendation.
Here's the second part.
Michael. 5-minute break.